And welcome back to the channel. Today's video will talk about the SFK battery more in depth. We'll also do the part 2 of the Node-RED for Victron and Venus OS in combination with the Raspberry Pi and all components I have, be it the smart shunt, be it the solar charge controller, or even the pure sine wave Phoenix 12-volt inverter. Let's get started. Thanks for watching again. Today's video will take a closer look for the SFK battery. So in case you're not interested in it, of course you can skip that part, but let me refer to the video up there where SFK Sun Kids is an American company. They introduced their battery, and you can see it here. There's a network cable or an RS485 cable, I believe it is, connected to our Raspberry Pi which is running Venus OS, and it can actually transmit through this cable, through this wire, all the information from this battery to our Venus OS and Victron setup, which is pretty cool. And we'll talk about first this battery itself, just, because it's a quality product in my opinion. It's made in the US. I want to see how much it is made in the US, how it looks inside. You can buy those kits as a self-built kit or a so-called DIY kit, or you can just buy it pre-built with the cells you want to have it, as well with with this RS485 wire or not, all those kind of things. But the video shows you that this battery connects and communicates with the entire Victron setup, which is fairly cool. So that's why this battery is included in this video with a capacity test. Also, I want to look inside. We don't have to take it completely apart, but I can tell you it is easy to open and look inside, and that is pretty cool because it's a DIY kit. And yes, this is a 280 amp hour battery, by the way. And then we'll also try to connect this GX Tank 140 to Raspberry Pi and see if we can see something. No, I don't have a lot of sensors at the moment. We'll get there at one point. And we'll also connect the pure sine wave inverter. So we connect everything, and then we'll configure Node-RED. This is the part 2, as I mentioned. Part 1, I told you up there, or I told you at the beginning, there's a video. Please watch it if you want to. With all the basics, well, actually it's a very slim, simple basic, but I hope it helps. Because there's so many different instructions and video tutorials out there. But this video will purely focus on the SFK battery, the Victron components, and part 2 of the Node-RED on how to turn on, turn off the pure sine wave inverter, how to read the voltage out of the SFK battery on the Node-RED interface. So we'll start with the battery. We'll take a look into the battery now. First, in case you don't want to see that, just skip to the appropriate part later in the video and continue the video, right? So let's get started with the battery. So as you can see, this battery, that's how it comes. It is currently connected. It has this nice wire, and in my case I received this battery with 280 amp hours, so the cells inside should be 280 amp hour rated. And this kit, just for reference, should be the Sun Kit version 5 standard. I think they sent me other cells because this was a pre-production unit, so it does vary a little bit. The housing, I believe, might be pretty much the same, or maybe has a different color in the meantime. Not sure about that. What's important is it does come with this plug back here. And that's kind of a network, an RJ45 connector. And this plug is important because that's connecting to the BMS. And that's at the end communicating with the Venus OS. And that's kind of the Sun Kids V5 Standard manual. That's what it would be if you want to have this battery or such a battery with the communication port for the Victron Volt and the Venus OS setup. There we go. So let's get a close look what's actually inside, and I'll start with that now. So this entire battery should be fairly simple to disassemble because it's a DIY kit, but you never know. So it comes with 4 bolts up here, and it is a hex head 2.5 millimeter. At least that was for me. And then it should have a gasket, and it's not that easy to just take off, but I'll give my best. So when looking at the battery, you can open it all the way, and you can see they have a lot of 3D printed brackets everywhere, which is so refreshing and amazing to see in general. And it looks pretty clean, it looks pretty well routed, and what I want to point out here, you can see those basically spacer, but also they are responsible for holding the entire cover to the housing, but the housing itself, when you carry it on those handles, they connect it to the bottom, so that's pretty nice. It had a little smell getting it out, but that's what it is. It does have a branded Sun Kit BMS here, and the first time, I mean, when you look at all those Chinese batteries, you might remember, You never see a lot of connections here. You see a lot of glue. With this one, because it's a DIY friendly kit, it has bolts. It has a little glue here, I have to say that, and that is actually a communication port, which I believe, because it's a pre-production unit most likely, it's not really soldered on, maybe from the beginning, because it looks a little crooked. Anyways, it works so far. That's good, and I hope it continues working. It does have a temperature sensor mounted over here. As mentioned, it comes with those 3D printed brackets, plastic everywhere. It has bolts everywhere. The entire kit is bolted in. This unit, the top part, just comes off. Has epoxy board in between to separate from the cells underneath here. And the cells, by the way, seem to fill it up the entire length and also the entire width. It does have a rubber gasket here. That is so cool to see, and you can take it apart without damaging it. There's a Bluetooth unit over here, a dongle here on this side. Sorry, you might not see it. Let me also, oh, I hope you can see it. And no, it's not changing the focus the whole time. What else? We see a spiral wrap for the wiring everywhere. We see even cable kind of ties, not ties, that's wrong, for cable organizing here. So there's a lot of life in here, but it is all organized. We can see, oh interesting, it's not hydraulically crimped, and the wires are, some of them are having a sharp turn actually, which I would not like to see. That would be nice if that could be better. Especially this one over here, SFK branded SFK Kit battery cable, 6-gauge. The blue one over here, we have the red one for the positive side. On this side is also 6-gauge, at least it's labeled like that. It's cool. They have their URL on there. Here, same. The crimp is one is the butterfly crimp kind of style, as long as it holds. But you can also see that it's crimped here, and there's a loose wire in between. So I'm not super happy with the wiring job, with the crimping job, or the crimping job in this case. They did, but it does work. I really would have loved to see this a little better, but here's what it is. We can see for the lug nuts, that's pretty cool, or for the lugs itself, they use those square washers, which is cool to see. Those two did spun a little bit, it looks like. There's no marking for torque value or something like that. Yeah, anything else? I mean, I want to take it more apart because you can actually see how the build quality is supposed to be, and with this kit, when you build it yourself, you can follow the steps on how to build it. This is the picture underneath how it should be with the cells and the bracket. And then there's a picture here with the entire BMS setup or assembly on top. And I can see it says here V5A. So that's kind of the kit they use. My cells, as mentioned, are from a different kit, still 280 amp hour. And then the kit itself comes with a lot of wires and whatnot, so everything is already pre-crimped and set up. So for you just to use your screwdriver, or in this case a hex Allen key, to put everything together, tighten it down, and that's pretty much it. So what I want to do is definitely a capacity test with the 200 amp hour cells. I want to understand how much power we can get out of them, because it is always a big question, in my opinion. Does it actually deliver what it should deliver, So additionally to the entire battery, there is also a SFK kit carrier. This one, and it is an isolated carrier, which means this part, which means you can actually carry this battery in this around, and that's what it looks inside. You can see it's isolated. It has this foil in here. It's very sturdy as well. It does have positive and negative wire, which you connect to your battery. There's a temperature sensor in here as well. Plus, there's a little, an XT30 connector in here, and that XT30 connector actually connects to this heating pad, which just is, aluminum, I guess. Yeah, pressed aluminum here, and then there are heating pads in here. And this one connects to the XT30 connector and goes on the bottom usually, like so. And then you have your temperature sensor you would place somewhere in the battery, ideally glue it on, and then connect positive and negative. And you've seen on the battery those three buttons. Those three buttons actually have a function, and you can see the temperature. You can see here the temperature, you can turn it on. that's what I say here. That on the V5 Standard Edition, it is an external temperature sensor. By pressing it, you can see the internal temperature of your battery. This will be indicated by the color of the LED and will range from deep blue, very cold, to red, very hot. This button does not perform any function and is simply used as a way to quickly find temperature range your battery is currently operating in. So that means for you, there's just to show you something if you don't want to use the app, because yes, it does come with an app, but it does come, so this unit does come with their own buttons. Temperature gauge, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can choose how much heat this one needs to produce. So that's the manual thing, but it does shut off when it reaches the temperature. So this is a fairly neat thing when you don't have heating pads, and this battery doesn't come with any heating pads, or at least self-heating inside. So this is a great addition in case you want to use it, once in a lifetime outside or wherever you're going, and this is really refreshing. Additionally, it does come with those outlets here where you can put your positive and negative wires through to the terminal, and then you can close it and carry it around with those handles. So it is pretty simple, very easy. Nothing special about this, but it is cool that this exists. I've never seen this before, so this is a very cool product additionally to the battery. All right, now the capacity test. Let's get the capacity test started. You can see it just unplugged the power supply, so it's dropping from 14.36. And yes, there is back there, I hope you can see it, the SFK battery. It doesn't have anything on the side, so hard to see. But believe me, it's a SFK kit battery. Let me reset everything and then we can get started. I think we got it. Let's get started. For a 280 amp hour battery pack, we should have like a 56 amp continuous draw over the next 5 hours, which is equals to 0.2 C discharge test. A standard industry test. And it looks like we are getting at 54, 55-ish. Oh yeah. I think that's pretty solid, kind of. Let's see. I'll leave it where it is, and I'll get back to you with the results or close to the end of this test. I will stop this here in a few seconds, but you can see we did already pass the 280 amp hours, and there's still a little way to go, and have 297 amp hours. This is amazing. This is a full-on pass for the SFK kit cells for this battery. Awesome. Let's continue.
All right, now we're getting into the section of, you guessed it right, Node RED. Exactly. So what happened? What have we done? So I hope you remember the last video, or at least if you have not watched it, watch it, because that's where we left off, or here when you look at this, that's where we stopped last time. And let me recap that really quick, just to give you a brief overview. So we do have the Hello Toby, we have the debug, we have the temperature over here, and it basically pops something up here in the debug mode at one point when there is a change happening. And as of now, it doesn't look like there's a lot of change happening, but it should come any minute. So just deploy this one more time, and that's where we stopped. And I want to now continue on my other device, because this is actually, because you see here, flow 2, when I mess with it, it will all appear in my flow 1, where I have already a bunch of stuff sitting. And yeah, by the way, temperature just changed to 31, or over here, Celsius, by the way, I have it in Celsius, or over here you see the debug, and that will fill up over time as soon as there's a little change happening or not. And I deleted it, I think, last time at the end, just for my sanity to not have this debug running all that time. So that means for me, I'm done with this one. I'm switching over to my Raspberry Pi 3, which is this device. And you heard me saying I have a GX Tank 140, which I connected. I have no sensors connected, but per default, fuel tank 1, 2, 3, I think 4 inputs. Yes, 4 inputs, 4 different sensors I can connect, which is cool because this works with correct Venus OS and our Raspberry Pi because it's a USB device. How to connect it correctly to a sensor, that's what I try to figure out and work on. If you have any recommendations, super easy sensor I can connect, let me know. Whatever, for a, I don't know, for a propane bottle for a water, wastewater, freshwater tank, whatever it might be, or if it's just, I don't know, some temperature sensor for that as well. I don't even know if that exists. I don't think so. But I also have connected the Phoenix inverter, and you can see this is also connected via the cable. So it means I'm using the VE direct from the inverter, from the Phoenix inverter, to my Raspberry Pi. Here's a picture of it, and when I go in here, you see switch is off. I did set it to the state where I can turn it on and off if I want to. So when I go in here and say, oh, no, there you go. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to set it to on. I have a little fan connected. Now you see that here it is inverting. So here it is inverting, and it's at 35 volt amperage. So it's 35 volt ampere. That's what it says here. So when I now go back, it is currently on. And what else do we have connected? Yeah, the temperature sensor, we'll take a look at that. We have the battery, smart charge, and smart solar charger, which currently has also a solar panel connected. So let's switch over to, so I'm using the IP address. And this is the port you have to add at the end, and then I'm ending up here. So what I did, I just entered this hello world, which currently, I don't even know if it's running. We don't even need, I'm deleting this one, and we will focus on this part, because that's what we did already. Except, let me hit deploy really quick, except that this is a gauge, so it means, what did I do? I just want to replay. So this is a gauge, using this one, and I'm using the temperature sensor. They have their own node, temperature sensor, I'm using this one. First, when I have temperature sensor, I only have one connected, Celsius, and I'll call this temperature sensor. I want to have it rounded to 1 digit, and I click OK. Now I connect those nodes together, and then I have a gauge, and I believe it's in Celsius. I have to double check if I yeah, I think it was Celsius what I had in here. So the minimum temperature can be I don't know, -10, hopefully max, and the maximum can be, what could that be? Hopefully not, but 80, who knows. Hit enter, and now I have this one, and in theory I should delete this, but just that you know what's happening, there's no node. Yep, I'm hitting deploy. Both are connected. One has the label gauge, because that's the label, the actual label which it will take. The temperature sensor, which I label here, is just a node labeling. So, and then I'm going over here, and now we see a couple other things. We'll explain in a second. So the one we added is this one, and the one which was in there already is this one. Why the order is so different, I have to double check, and I think I know where it was, but I have to double check where that was again. So just that you understand what I did. I'm deleting the bottom. I'm going in here to Raspberry Pi processor temperature. You can see I used the label here, and I did enter minimum temperature. I thought about LA, and we don't have minus degrees usually in Celsius, so below 32, but yeah, you know, wherever I go, it might be. And of course, I have the sectors here enabled as well, or changed accordingly. So green, yellow, red, just that you understand what's going on. And one thing also needed to add here is, if I haven't talked about it, you have to have a group default, and I have home. That's just how I labeled it. You can do that over here. You create a default, you call it whatever you want to call it, and then save it. And that's basically the dashboard where it will appear. So, okay, going back, deleting this really quick. So refreshing. No, I don't even have to refresh, I believe. We have the temperature gauge down here. So those two up here, what you see here. So we want to add the SFK voltage. So that's just the voltage of the SFK battery, the reading from the battery itself, not from the smart shunt. And then we have the inverter control, and that's the on and off button that it does pull some energy. And maybe we can add also how much current it is drawing from battery. That would be cool, those three things. So I did play around and wanted to make it easy, but I will recreate everything. That means we will start with inverter control. And for the inverter control, we have actually something which is pretty cool. Not a PV. Here's the inverter control. So I'll pull this one over, and you see the node is over here to connect. And I want to use a switch because I only have on and off for this one. So I'll use this toggle switch over here on the dashboard. And that means I have to connect it over here. That's just how it is. So inverter control, yep, it found already the inverter. Awesome. Measures just the modes. And what's cool, they tell you the value times of this inverter. And the inverter has 2 for inverter on, 4 for inverter off, and 5 for low power eco mode, which I don't want to use. I want to just use 2 and 4. That's why a switch, a toggle switch, is totally fine for me. And I want to have initial value, nothing. Don't set initial value. I want to keep what it is, whatever it is at that state when the Raspberry Pi gets on, turns on. I want to keep that. Hitting enter, then going into the switch. I'm calling this inverter on off, off, and then what we need to do, there's no tooltip what I need. I'm having no icon at the moment. On payload, and there's true false, but you saw there are numbers what we have to use. So we need to change this to a number, and I remember on was 2, and off is also a number, and it was 4. I could potentially add more here. I don't change anything here, but click OK. Now do connected, and now I say deploy. So when I go over here, you see inverter control. That's the one which I had before, so I'll delete that one just to stop making anybody confused. Hit deploy again. Go back, and then we see inverter control on off. To make it easier, I need to get, where is it? Okay, to make it easier, I have now here on the left, on the right side, our Phoenix inverter, and we can see it's currently on. So what I'm doing, because we see inverter on off is off at the moment, I want to turn it off, just that you see it is starting, and I'm staying in this, no, I'm going in here, so we can see switch, state, AC out. Right now inverter is off, so now I can use the toggle switch and turn it on. Hitting on, switch turned on, it starts converting, and now it's pulling power because the fan is starting. And now I turn it off, and it turns off. It's that quick because it's in the same Wi-Fi and everything else, so it's really quick, which I enjoy here. So turning it on, fan should kick in, or inverting, and then yeah. So that's pretty cool. Now we have a draw, which when I go back, I can see SFK battery. Well, I'm on the one hand I'm charging, but I'm also pulling power, so that's a little confusing. So let me turn off the inverter again. Now when you see the SFK Tobii battery, it's at 4.72 amp, and when I turn on the inverter, the fan kicks in. You can see whatever is used, it's directly used from the solar charger going in, so it's not even going in the battery. So that's why it is reducing from 4 amp to 2 amp at the moment. So that's one cool thing. Let's see, we have a smart yeah, we have a smart charger here as well, and I believe we can enable that and disable it. I have to double check. Let's see. So we go back into the node, and there was a PV solar charger. That's what it's called, solar charger. Let's see what it has. Let me make that a little bigger. So we do have the MPPT, perfect, and then we have load state charger on off. There we go. So we can actually turn it on and off. So let's do that. All right. So that means we have the smart solar charger. We'll use the same toggle switch, this one, and oh, this time it's the other way around. Don't ask me why it's one time this and one time, I don't know. For toggle switch, I think it doesn't matter because it goes in both directions. Switch. Oh wait, so we have, what was the number? 1 and 4. All right. So we'll do the solar. Let's call the MPPT solar charge control. Solar. More like this. That's fine for me. Then the payload. I said 1 and 4, right? So it's a number for on 1 and a number for off 4. Hitting OK. Deploying. Looks like it's connected. We'll go over here. Oh yeah, that will be interesting. So, oh, right now it says it's on. So here we can see on the right side smart solar charge MPPT. Do the toggle here. What happens? Nothing happens. Ah, so I can't turn it on or off. Alright, so that does not work. Oh, wait a second, it was on, so now it's off. Sorry. Oh no, look at this. I tried to turn it off and it always goes back on. Oh, I didn't see that. Okay, interesting. So that's a good one. I have no idea why that is. I've never tried to solve a charge controller because I didn't know that you could even use that. That is funny. So 1 is on, 4 is off. 1 is on, 4 is off. Yeah. Alright, so maybe the audience, maybe you guys know why that is the case. I'll leave it here. We might work on that next time. But I'll move it down here, just for me. Even when I hit deploy, it doesn't matter. It's really not. This is not the order. The order is somewhat different where you have to configure that. One more thing, and that one is the SFK voltage, and maybe the draw. So since I played around, maybe you would use a different Victron energy node here. I didn't find it, so I'm using a custom input. So custom input means I have GX tank, I have everything else. I have the SFK Toby, so that's just how I label it. Sorry, it might have SFK battery or whatever in your name when you connected it. But I can use SFK Toby. That's what I'm doing here. Measures, and then there's a bunch of stuff what I can try to figure out and see and whatever is good there. I went all the way down to voltage sum because I wanted to have the summary of all the cells combined. And then I do name it SFK voltage because I want to know what this one is. And for the output, you can use a gauge like this one instead of what I did. And you can say I have a minimum from 9 and a maximum from 15. And that's kind of what you want to have. And then sectors, it will just, you know, do it on its own unless you want to change that. And then you rename it in SFK battery voltage, like so. And value format in unit, you can call it voltage. Hit deploy. Oh, we forgot one thing. Connect the nodes. Here we are. And yes, the rounding is important. I want to have 2. Now I hit deploy again. Let's see what happens. Nice. You see the SFK voltage at the beginning. I use the text. Now we do have a gauge over here. And maybe we have to change the coloring here because obviously we want to have the other way around, 15 and 9. So 15, almost 15 is green, so 14.6 is green, right? So we can also go to whatever you want to, but I want to use the whole numbers. 15 is green, so it means 14.6, the higher the number, the more green it is. The lower the number, the more red it is. I hope that makes sense. When I click deploy, go over here, now we see it. Okay, it is slightly green, getting there. So the higher the number, the more green it will become. That's pretty nice to see. Good. All I wanted to have. Turn off the solar again. And it turns back on. Funny. Okay. What else? I want to do one more thing, and that's still custom input. Let's see. We want to use our SFK Toby, and I would like to see kind of a current if there is something. You know, like current average, DCO current. Let's play with that one. I'll call SFK current. I'm gonna see if there's something going in and out. Done. And for this one, we'll use a text just to see. What is it? Text. And over here, call it SFK current. And that's pretty much all. Hit deploy and see if we get anything out of this. 4.8. Oh, that sounds pretty close. Oh, that's input. Sorry, that was the wrong text. Yeah, I used text input, I think. Why do you use text input? Don't ask me. Delete this one. Use this text output. Because we don't want to enter something, we just want to get the output, right? So we'll call this SFK voltage. That's good. You see what I'm doing wrong, kind of thing. I hope that makes sense. And it's not voltage, it's current. Current. Hit OK. Hit deploy. There we are. Go over here. We see 4.55. Let me go over here. Let's have that both over here. So we see SFK Toby. It is 4.8, 8, 9, 7. So it's changing to the numbers. I think it's pretty close or the same. Depends on the delay. But it is, you see the difference between the smart shunt and the SFK battery. I'm using the SFK battery information, not using the smart shunt. We could also use that, obviously. It really depends on your setup and on your show. But for me, it was very important to show you we can use Node-RED in combination with a third-party SFK battery, SunFunKit battery, their BMS. They're actually reading from the battery into this one, and I think that is pretty amazing. One more thing I want to show you, and I hope that this works since the battery is in the garage, and SFK also has a SFK BMS app. That's what it's called. It is a little bit finicky in terms of you have to scan every single time, and hopefully your battery is in there and then select it, versus that it's always there. It's a little bit more. It's not as user-friendly as I would love to see it, but it is not bad. So I scan it, view all devices, and I know I have to scan again because I didn't see it. Otherwise it would pop up here. So scanning again, I hope I can get it pretty quick. No promise here, but... Nope, not scanning. Oh, there it is. SFK 150, and check it, connect to it, and then we see the battery, and it's updating. So that's kind of the process I had every single time to do, which I just didn't enjoy, but it is what it is. So this is exactly the same. What we should also see here on our right side, SFK Toby battery. So it means we have a voltage of 12.9, amperage is 4.71, rounding, maybe a delay, you know, it's always possible. 6.98% on the app, but 7 here. It's all the rounding stuff. And do we also see something else? Oh, temperature is here. Sorry, this is Celsius on the Raspberry Pi, but it is Fahrenheit on the app. Anyways, but you get the idea, I believe. That's pretty cool to see. Yeah, that is pretty cool what you can see. And let me see one more thing. I know if there's anything. Force charging off. Nope, there is nothing we do here. So this is nice and neat, by the way. Additionally to the SFK battery I wanted to show you. Anyways, pretty cool. All right, I think that's pretty much it for this session. For part 2, there will be part 3, and that will most likely include, hopefully include, the GX tank. Maybe I have an answer for the charger here. Yeah, I hope that made sense for you. I hope you enjoyed that part 2, and I try to make it easy, but still jumping through pretty quick. Okay, I have to show you and share this. One of my viewers sent me a picture, and that was based on the version Venus 3.30, and he was using not only GPS data with an old Android phone, he is also using the Raspberry Pi, obviously, with a Teltonika RUT950 for his internet connection, and Node-RED uses SNMP to get the cellular data such as cell strength and etc. And here it's hard to read because it's just taking a picture of the tablet, but you can see it has a lot of widgets, has a different formatting and all those kind of things. It's pretty cool. He really did a lot of configuration, I believe. Barry is his name, and thanks for sending this over. I asked him if I can use it and show it and share it with you. It's pretty cool what he has done, his entire workflow behind it. And one other thing, I think, because everyone is kind of using a Raspberry Pi, this is his Raspberry Pi he's using, so you see it's mounted to his car somewhere. That's pretty cool. I really liked it, and thanks for sending this over, Barry. I think this is really valuable for everyone else to see, because when you look at my very basic configuration, what I try to show and teach you here, you actually have a great use case with a tablet and really monitoring everything. So just to give other people an idea. Thanks for sharing that one. Alright, I think this video is long enough. If you have any questions, let me know. I hope you enjoyed also the part with the SFK kit battery. Links in the description below. I think it's a high quality battery, and I'm so happy to have that one, and I will give it a way more in-depth test on my end, at least, especially in the cold weather and hot weather. So we'll see how that goes, and stay tuned for other videos coming out. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to see next part of Node-RED, as well as other battery reviews or everything what belongs to the new energy path and route. Thanks for watching. Cheers!